When you can't find yourself anymore, you look in the mirror and don't recognize the person staring back. Not because your face changed, but because your spirit feels like a stranger. You smile when you're supposed to, say all the right words, but inside, something is missing. You don't laugh like you used to. You don't dream like you used to. You don't feel yourselves. And the worst part? You can't explain why. You might say things like, I don't know who I am anymore. I feel numb, like I'm just going through the motions. I miss myself, but I don't even know what that means. It's like I disappeared inside my own life. And when you try to talk about it, people say, you're just tired. You're doing great. It's just a phase. Everyone feels that way sometimes. But deep down, you know, this isn't just a phase. It's a quiet identity crisis, a fading of your own fire. This is what no one sees. Purple circle, you're functioning. Purple circle, you're productive. Purple circle, you're present. But you're not you. Something in you feels lost. Not gone. Just buried. And the scariest part? You're starting to wonder if you'll ever feel like you again. Let's name what this really is. This isn't failure. This isn't weakness. This is the result of emotional survival mode. When you spend years pleasing others, suppressing feelings, performing strength, prioritizing everything but yourself, you don't just get tired. You get disconnected. You lose access to the part of you that's real. And you become a version of yourself that can survive, but not thrive. If you felt this, if you wake up and wonder where your joy went, if you feel like your personality has dulled, if you miss the you who used to feel more alive, this video is for you. Because you didn't disappear. You just got buried under everything you thought you had to be. In the next topic, we'll explore exactly how this disconnection happens in the brain, body, and soul. And what keeps so many women emotionally drifting from themselves. Because you're not lost. You're just overdue for a homecoming. How women disconnect from themselves without realizing it. You don't lose yourself overnight. It's not one big moment. It's dozens of small ones stacked over time. Tiny acts of self-abandonment. Silent emotional trade-offs. Choices made out of fear, pressure, survival. And eventually, you wake up in a life that looks familiar, but feels foreign. You start saying yes when you mean no. It begins with one yes to keep the peace, then another to avoid guilt, then another because you should, until your boundaries blur, your voice softens, and your needs vanish. Each time you betray your truth, even a little, you step further away from the real you. 2. You smile when you want to scream. You perform calm. You perform kindness. You perform strength. Even when your chest is tight. Even when your thoughts are spinning. Even when your heart is begging for someone to notice. But no one sees past the smile. So you keep wearing it. Until even you forget it's a mask. 3. You confuse productivity with purpose. You start measuring yourself by what you get done, who you take care of, how together you seem. Rest feels like failure. Stillness feels unsafe. Joy feels unearned. So you keep going, and going, and going, until there's no space left for reflection, no room for desire, no energy for you. 4. You swallow emotions instead of expressing them. Anger? Suppressed. Sadness? Hidden. Disappointment? Dismissed. Not because you don't feel, but because feeling never felt safe. You learned. Don't be dramatic. Don't make it about you. Stay composed. And so, you shrink. You numb. You disconnect. Your body becomes a container, not a home. 5. Your brain adapts to survival mode. When you live under emotional pressure long enough, your brain rewires itself. You stop asking, "What do I want?" and start asking, "What's expected of me?" Your identity becomes a response, not a truth. This rewiring is subtle, but the result is devastating. You forget your voice. You forget your curiosity. You forget how to feel like you. Light bulb the truth. You didn't lose yourself because you failed. You lost yourself because the world rewarded your self-abandonment. And now, your body is tired of pretending. Your soul is knocking, and it's time to answer. In the next topic, I'll share the story of a woman who woke up one day and realized she didn't recognize the life she built, and how she slowly began to return to herself, without burning everything down, the moment she remembered herself. Her name was Elise. She had a good life. At least, that's what everyone said. A stable job, a partner who loved her, a calendar full of things to do, a life full of things to manage. But inside, something didn't feel right. Not wrong, just off. Muted, detached, like she was playing the role of herself, instead of being herself. It wasn't depression, not the way she thought it would look. She wasn't crying every day. She wasn't lying in bed for hours. She wasn't falling apart. She was functioning, getting things done, smiling when she should, keeping it all together. But deep down, she kept thinking, "Where did I go?" One afternoon, Elise was walking through a bookstore. Not for anything in particular, just to fill time. She picked up an old poetry book, the kind she used to love in college, when she still wrote in journals and believed in stars. She opened to a random page and read one line. "There is a woman I used to be. She waits for me still, beneath the noise." And something inside her broke. Not in a painful way, but in a remembering kind of way. She sat on the floor, right there in the aisle, and whispered through tears, "I remember her." That moment didn't solve everything, but it cracked the shell. She realized her disconnection wasn't sudden. It was slow, quiet, polite. 1,000 little losses of self. Choosing what was expected over what was true. Shrinking when she wanted to speak. Replacing joy with efficiency. Replacing curiosity with control. From that day, Elise began doing something radical. She started checking in with herself. What do I want today? What am I pretending not to feel? What part of me have I ignored for too long? And more importantly, she started listening to the answers. She didn't leave her job, didn't move to another city, didn't start over. She just began returning piece by piece to the version of herself that felt alive, messy, real, whole. If you felt like Elise, if you've been functioning on autopilot, numb behind a life that looks fine, please know, you're not gone. You're just underneath. And remembering yourself isn't a one-time moment. It's a practice, a promise, a slow return. In the next topic, I'll show you how to begin that return. With real, gentle tools to reconnect with the parts of you that got left behind. Because the you miss is still waiting. How to reconnect with yourself without burning everything down. You don't need to quit your job. You don't need to leave your relationship. You don't need to run away to a cabin in the woods. Returning to yourself isn't about changing your life overnight. It's about changing the way you meet yourself inside your life. Here's how to start. 1. Use me before reflection prompts. Think about a time when you felt more like you. Not perfect. Not everything figured out. Just more connected. Now ask, what was I doing that brought me joy without purpose? What kind of music, books, or people lit me up back then? What part of me have I silenced to make others comfortable? Write the answers down. They are breadcrumbs back to your soul. Svi Balloon 2. Ask yourself, is this me or is this a role? Throughout the day, pause and ask, am I showing up as myself, or as the version I think others expect? You don't have to change what you do. Just notice who's doing it. The mask or the real you. Awareness is the first step to choice. And choice is how we reclaim our identity. Writing. And 3. Start a daily desire journal. Every morning or night, answer this question. What do I truly want today? Not what's productive. Not what's expected. What do you want? Even if you can't act on it right away, naming your desire helps you remember you have one. Desire is the compass back to yourself. Woman and Lotus Position 4. Create 5-minute rituals that feel like you. You don't need hours of self-care. You need moments of alignment. Try listening to music you loved at 16. Wearing a scent that makes you feel soft. Moving your body with no structure, just feeling. Drinking your coffee slowly, without distraction. Saying out loud, I'm here. I remember myself. These rituals are reminders. I'm not lost. I'm just waking up. Red Heart 5. Stop asking for permission to be yourself. You don't need to be perfect to be valid. You don't need to explain your feelings to be allowed to have them. You don't need to shrink to be safe. Say this to yourself. I'm allowed to take up space. I'm allowed to be too much. I'm allowed to change. I'm allowed to come home to myself. You don't have to earn your return. You just have to begin. If you take even one step a day, toward your voice, your body, your truth, you'll begin to feel the soft echo of the woman you miss. And one day, you'll realize she never left. She just got tired of not being invited. In the next topic, I'll guide you through a gentle visualization to help you remember who you are beneath the noise, the masks, and the rules. Because the you miss is not a memory. She's a home. And she's still there. Guided return to the self plus final message. Close your eyes. Breathe in slowly. And exhale everything that doesn't belong to you. Again. Slower this time. Let the breath remind your body. I'm here. I'm safe. I'm allowed to remember. Now imagine this. You're walking through a forest. Quiet. Gentle sunlight breaking through trees. The kind of place where you can finally hear your own thoughts. As you walk, you notice something ahead. A small cabin. You walk toward it, slowly. Your feet know the way, because you've been here before. This is not just a cabin. This is you. Inside, everything feels familiar. There's a scent you used to love. A song playing in the background. A journal with your handwriting. Photos of you smiling, not for others, but for joy. You walk to a mirror. And for the first time in a long time, you see a version of yourself that looks alive. Not polished. Not perfect. Just real. You look into her eyes and whisper, I forgot you. I'm sorry I left. I'm here now. And she smiles. Because she was never angry. She was just waiting. Now breathe again. Let that image of you sink in. The version of you who speaks her truth, laughs from the belly, says no without guilt, dances without thinking, loves without shrinking. She still exists. She always did. She just needed you to come back. Now place your hand over your heart. Feel the warmth. Feel the presence. Feel the quiet whisper that says, "You're not lost. You're remembering." If this video brought you home to even a piece of yourself, please like it, share it, and subscribe. This channel is your safe space to heal, to remember, to come alive again. You don't need permission to be you. You just need to stop apologizing for it. And if no one's told you this today, welcome back.